I wanted to show you something simple you can do with a knitting spool or a knitting Nancy, a knitting doll. There is a form of Japanese braiding that is usually grouped in the weaving area of craft ideas or topics, and that's where you would find weights that are made to attach to the bottom of your work and a spool knitter, because when they are doing that type of braiding, they also need to make sure that the work is always pulled down at a consistent rate. And I've looked at those weights to buy. They come, that I've seen, in two sizes, and even though they're fairly inexpensive, I was thinking, well, but I don't know how heavy I want it for each piece. Sometimes I use spool knitters to make bracelets or jewelry. Sometimes, obviously, I use them to make yarn items. So here's an alternative to buying the weights. They're not very expensive. They're between $7 and $10 a piece. But there are things around the house that you can use instead. In this case, what I'm using are two vintage washers. Now, these happen to come with a bunch of sewing machine parts, and I was going to throw them out, and then I was like, well, wait a minute, I can use those. So when you use things like this, you're also helping to recycle, upcycle, find different uses. I can't use these. I have never seen washers like this with a bar in the middle, but they'll work if I tie them to the end of this work. You can also use fishing lures, not fishing lures, fishing weights, sinker weights, and both washers of different weights and sinker weights for fishing. They're all very inexpensive, and it's even if you buy new ones, a very inexpensive way to add a weight to the bottom of your knitting spool work so that it's pulled down consistently. Let me tie these on here and I'll show you what I mean. Now that's very simply just tied at the bottom of my work. And as I had said in another video, I tend to keep one of these in my pocket wherever I go, so in case I'm waiting for something somewhere or have a free moment, I have something to do. And I could add as many weights to this as I wanted to. If I were working with a heavier yarn or even copper wire, which is what I use, you could also use it as a way to pull your work down if you needed to. When you're making wire bracelets, sometimes the beads, as they go down through the knitting spool, they need to crunch together a little bit to go through, and it actually helps to form the bracelet. And at times I'll break off the wire at the bottom by mistake because it's difficult sometimes to pull the wire out. If I have my lead wire coming down and attach household items like this, it does give me something additional to grip onto. You have to be careful when working with wire, but this definitely works with a yarn knitter. And I'm sure that once you start thinking about it, you'll find lots of other simple metal things that you can tie to the bottom of your work on a knitting spool or knitting doll.